Welcome, lovers. I don't know what I'm doing, but you probably already knew that. And look, there are guests. This is my fiance.
I'm terrible.
You're not. Lobo, which has been here before.
Hello.
And this is his lovely lady, Kenlynn. And since they came to visit for the New Year's weekend, because it is January 1st today, we decided we should do a video together, and we're going to be talking about some of the stupidest things people have ever said or done in front of us.
Did you just say they came to visit for the New Year's weekend? It's the middle of the week.
My brain doesn't know what day it is.
Stupid thing number one. Starting off with a hitch.
Return of the cup, because I don't have a good microphone. It's a different cup this time, though.
It's got dice in it.
I mean, the last one also had dice in it. It was just a different cup.
This one's nicer.
Okay.
I'll start with a classic old favorite from high school. Of something that was so great that when somebody, or it was actually so stupid that when the guy said it to me, I responded, and he reevaluated his whole life. Because one day a classmate of mine looked at me, everyone was joking, because I was a person that was frequently picked on, they used to laugh at, and things like that, but I rolled with it, because why not? And this guy looked at me and said, "Man, you look like the kind of person that likes to stick his hand under the blanket whenever he farts." And I looked at him and I said, "I want you to know that is the stupidest thing you've ever said, and nothing will ever top that. You really should look at yourself as a person." And the very next day after that, he would always just be like, "Hey, Eraitt, how's it going?" Just like friendly. Never made fun of me again from that day. And I'm like, that's... why you would say that to someone?
I don't know. I'm going to start with one that I get all the time. I work at Dollar Tree at the moment, in case anybody doesn't know. But
Sponsor us.
I already work there.
Sponsor us more. This is brought to you in part by...
Love you.
Say it to the camera, don't say it to me.
What? Okay, back to what I was saying. I work at the Dollar Tree, and one of the most frequent questions I get, at least one person every day that I work there comes up to me with an item and says, "How much is this?" Every day. It says on the name of the store, on the front of the store, and on signs throughout the store that everything is $1. The only time something isn't $1 is if it's less than $1.
And that's just like the candy before you, like the impulse buy stuff. It's like 89 cents sometimes.
Yeah. And like discount items, because they're not in season, will be like 50 cents.
I found this dust-covered snowman chocolate. How much is it? Please just take it away and leave. It tastes as good as it looks.
See, I just remembered something you like to say, and because it's funny, but it's also very stupid.
I'm going to kill you, but not to death.
That too. But I'm talking
Very
about...
close, but not death. But close.
I'm talking about when you look at the dog, you say her name, and then you say, if that's even your name.
Hey, Scarlet. If that is your real name.
We named her.
I just say it because she always does the same reaction. It's been like almost a year, and she'll drop whatever she's doing and just go, "We named her." And I'm like, yeah, but is it really her name?
There was this one time, Taco Bell, where I thought I'd start off with something medium.
I like it spicy.
So this dude asked me if we have burgers.
Yeah, I got that a lot.
Mm-hmm. We got asked if we had burgers, if we had French fries,
If we had ketchup.
if we had chicken nuggets.
We were a taco place.
We were Tex-Mex, but not quite that Tex-Mex. Yeah, but just like stuff like that always happen in restaurants that I've worked at, like at a place called Pollo Tropical, which means tropical chicken. Everybody knows pollo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pollo is chicken.
One of the few words
Learning.
I understood.
See.
Well, a lot of people would ask, "Do you guys have chicken?" And it's just like, did you bother looking at that big bright fucker over there in the corner? And then at Popeyes too, they had asked if we had chicken or jambalaya. One dude even asked if we had crawfish etouffee, and I'm like, it's a fast food place, first of all.
It does. Chicken.
Chicken nuggets.
And biscuits that kill you. But mostly chicken.
The biscuits were killer. They were so dry.
Oh, yeah. Unless they were, like, perfectly fresh and they were, like, moist. Awesome. After that, you're eating traveling bread, which is meant to help you survive by putting food in your stomach, not survive by breathing.
Background is I am studying wildlife and fisheries science, so I get a lot of animal-related questions. Some of them should not be questions. This one time, someone came up to me and asked me which birds control the weather. They were completely sober. So I asked them, do you mean which birds are affected by global warming? No. They want to know what birds control the weather. Since they want to be able to train the birds so that they can control the weather and make a profit by selling weather.
Oh my god. I was not prepared for that.
You had me going in the first half. That second half hit me like a sledgehammer. I want to train the birds to make a profit.
Oh my
and
god,
change the
I
weather.
forgot about that second part.
It's alright, man. You get 3 turtle doves, you have a snowstorm. Blue jays mean blue skies, clearly. What does a pink one mean? Run.
I have two that kind of go together because they both happened during my pregnancy and both were relevant to it. The first one, I was very pregnant, very obviously, and I was just sitting down at, I think it was Whataburger, because I went there a lot at the time, and I was just sitting there, I think waiting for people, and like I was sitting at an angle where my tongue was like sticking out of the booth I was sitting at, and this are you done?
Okay, sorry.
This random lady I did not know walks up to me, looks down at my stomach, looks up at my face, and goes, "Are you a virgin?" It's like she didn't want to ask if I was pregnant because she was afraid I was going to be fat instead, so that's what came out of her mouth.
You see, I have this horrible disease where all my fat just goes straight to my gut, protruding outwards in a very stiff manner.
The second one is about a girl that worked with us at TC that a lot of us didn't like.
Oh.
The one that used to always flirt with the DM.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was not fun, but
The DM just kept saying roll for initiative, and she just kept ignoring it.
Anyways, I was sitting on my break one day, just out in like the inside of the store, and she comes to sit next to me because she's like about to get off or start her shift. She was about to start or end her shift. So she was sitting there talking to me, and I was just kind of listening because I didn't want to talk to her. And then out of the blue, she's like, "Oh, by the way, I had an abortion." And I was just like, okay. Like, I was really pregnant at the time, like visibly pregnant. She knew this. And then she just proceeded to brag to me about how she got an abortion, like it was an accomplishment. And I'm just sitting there with my belly like, you think this is appropriate conversation?
I don't even know how.
all I could.
I'd completely forgotten
I would
about her.
just want to go back in time at that moment where she's like, I had an abortion. I'd be like, I had 2 number 9s. Nobody gives a shit about either of these things.
Yeah.
I was working at Academy, and this old man comes up and asked if we have windbreakers. And I told him that we didn't, because I was working in the men's department at the time. And I showed him the one rain jacket we did have, which was just basically a poncho. And so he starts going around the store just grabbing things. And so I say, if you want a dressing room, it's right over there. And I lead him to it. But he decides, instead of going to the dressing room, that he will undress himself in the middle of the store. And it took me getting some of my male coworkers over to him for him to listen to anybody. It's horrible.
That's.
When I go to work, there's a lot of things that are packaged in like plastic packaging so you can see the inside.
God.
And a lot of the times, not only can you see the inside, but there's a very large, very obvious description of it on the front. So the amount of people that come up to me and be like, how many is in this? Or what color is it? Or how big is it? When it's right there. It's right there. It's
Have you
ridiculous. And like it's so ridiculous the amount of times I've had to grab it from them, turn it around and point at it. Like somebody had a thing. It wasn't a shower curtain. It was like a table cover and it was red. And it was obvious that it was red because the whole package was red and it was just folded up in it. It's plastic. Mm-hmm. So they walk up to me like, what color of thing is in here? And I'm just like, it's red. I don't know what other color it would be. And they just went, are you sure? I'm like, yes! You can see it! That's all you can see is the red.
One was between 2 managers. One was from a driver. So we're gonna start with the one from the driver. He was a semi-new guy. He had all his experience driving. Oh, I used to do this, do that, do whatever. Cool. Deliver this pizza to this address. An hour and a half later, he shows up with the pizza. I couldn't find the address. Once I saw the sign that said Mouton Cove, which is 40 minutes south of the store, I realized I didn't know where the man lived. Guy drew 40 minutes away, saw a sign and went, oh, I went too far. So instead of, GPS on his phone, it's back to the store. In the same store. There was one manager who was the store manager at the time, and the other manager was, he was about to become the store manager because the store manager is leaving. Well, she's there. It's one of the greatest things about working where I worked because as soon as it's like, oh, the regional manager's coming in, everyone just, their pants get a lot warmer and they get real scared. They shit themselves. So they start cleaning everything that they wouldn't think to clean, like, oh my god, the ceiling tile that, has a discoloration from water damage. Clearly I can scrub this clean. So the store manager hopped up on the table with a rag and is like halfway squatting because the ceiling is only 10 feet high.
Mm-hmm.
The table's like 4 feet up. So she's partially squatting and the other manager comes up and very I guess he thought in an endearing way, said, I never realized you had a really nice ass until you got on the table.
Oh.
And all I heard, you could hear the squeak of her shoes as she did that rotation to turn at him and be like, the fuck?
Graveyard shift story. So, always fun.
Oh, absolutely.
So, working graveyard, I'm basically the only person at the store because my manager, who was supposed to be working with me, was not feeling well, but she couldn't call in because otherwise they'd have to close the store down or find another manager, which God forbid. But, so we're both working, and then like this dude just comes by, drives up, completely skips the speaker, so I'm not able to take his order, and then comes right to the window, and I just go real quick before he sees me, come out of the kitchen, go over there, open the window, and just like, how can I help you today, sir? And he just looks at me and like, is anybody else working here? It's me and my manager, sir. How come you don't have more people? It's graveyard shifts, sir.
It's 3:15 in the morning.
That's
Yeah.
You should be asleep.
Yeah. But he just kept asking question after question until he got to the real golden nugget. Which was like, well, aren't you gonna try to take my order?
Nah.
I did. I did about 15 minutes ago before you went on your fucking rant.
Once again, working in wildlife, I get a lot of questions. And for school, I was doing a deer survey. So I was tracking white-tailed deer and recording their behavior for a couple of months. It was a pretty good-sized school project. And so this guy comes up to me and told me about how when he was a kid, he used to go hunting with his grandfather. Never shot anything. But he started asking me if I knew how to tell the difference from a male and a female deer based off of their tracks. And so he described the female deer. Since white-tailed deer, you can't tell them apart based off of tracks. Only if it's really muddy, maybe the heavier males would sink in. But it's not very likely, especially since we don't get a lot of rain. But he started to then tell me about the male deer and describe perfectly a feral hog. So this whole time he was tracking feral hogs, which are very aggressive, and if you were not prepared to encounter one, it could tear you up.
I think you have some of the best ones. There's just kind of going a straight line. Okay, this is pretty stupid. Idiocy. Just
Had to tell me how I was wrong, and I was just seeing female deer. Well, this was in the fall when the rut was going on, so you could clearly see the male deer antlers. Whenever I successfully tracked them down for my project.
When I was younger, and we went to my grandparents' lake house all the time, we went there for New Year's one year, and I was walking around the forest part behind the house that led up to the lake, and I heard a flopping sound. And I looked around, and there was a baby deer with a broken neck, and it was like flopping its head back and forth because it was in the middle of an ant pile, a fire ant pile. It was very sad. I got my parents' attention. We took it to the animal hospital. It survived. It was great. But that's like one of my more interesting memories about the lake house, so I like to tell that story. There was a dude in college who I was telling this story to because we were doing one of those get to know your classmate things that everyone hates.
mm-hmm.
I don't think it was my math class. I think it was my psych class. This guy also said some other stupid shit, which I'll talk about later. But I was telling him this story, and he looks me in the eyes and said, "It's physically impossible for any living thing to survive a broken neck, you liar." And I'm just like, honey, that's not how it works. And then he proceeded to go, well, then how come every time there's a show or a movie where somebody breaks their neck, they automatically die? And I'm just
A show or a movie?
yeah. I was like, oh my god.
So a guy who called you a liar about something surviving a broken neck and proceeded to say, well, in the movies, they die immediately. By the way, we're in psych class and I'm going to do great.
The other really stupid thing he said to me was, I don't actually plan to become a therapist. I'm just in this class to learn how to read people's minds.
That doesn't work.
Like, he legitimately thinks psychology is the art of learning how to read people's minds.
Oh, by the way, her channel is not PG at all.
No,
Okay.
it's not. You can curse.
Fuck.
I love
If
you.
you keep watching these videos, you'll start to wonder what she sees in me. And let me tell you,
It's a lot.
it's just she looks at me with her eyes closed a lot, that's all. Oh, hard.
Okay, so my former roommate, as most of you know, we had the same idea. As my former roommate, you guys know my former roommate was into hypnotism. Yeah.
Not in a good way.
Not in a good way. So
I'm going to hypnotize you and make you fold my laundry. That's what I would do hypnotism for.
So one of the things that he tried to do was include anything and everything about life into hypnotism. Like it didn't matter if you were talking about, hey, how's the weather outside? Have you heard about association? And I'm like, motherfucker, I just asked you to look up at the sky and tell me how it looks.
That cloud looks like a T-Rex. Yes, but did you know that?
Yeah, basically, any conversation you had, it would immediately circle back to that.
Tried to make me a business partner.
Yoga
And you
hypnotism.
dodged that? Great deal? I can't believe you.
I know.
You could have been rolling in leaves by now.
He and I were talking about our interest. I was just trying to have a nice conversation with him. I don't know why I was trying to be nice to him. But we started talking about how I like blacksmithing. I'm borderline obsessed with it. And how he's borderline obsessed with hypnotism. And then he starts trying to ask me how we could incorporate the two into a business proposition.
You see, this is the real world, and I can't make weapons that hypnotize people. And
This is not an anime.
I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry, it just keeps hitting me when my mouth is
I'm
open.
gonna go get a mask to wear.
Hoping
It'll
for
be great.
that. That's
I'll
what
be
he was
right
trying
back.
to do to the birds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Kinda.
No, it's fine. Ow, it's fine. No, it's good. It's good. It's fine. It's good.
No,
It's good.
stay.
No, it's good. It's cool. It's fine. It's cool. I'm just gonna get a mask. It's fine. I can get a surgery mask so I can't, exhale anymore.
So one time we got
It's
in a
PG.
conversation about, since I had just gotten off from therapy, and it was about empathy, and it was also during my teacher training for yoga. So I think he overheard me talking to you about since I always discussed whatever I learned with you.
Yeah.
And so he heard me saying that I am empathetic. However you say the word.
Emphatic.
Yes, I'm bad with
They're
words.
very strong with empathy.
Mm-hmm.
Just do the really lame version.
Yes.
Because psychological terms are weird.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
But he was trying to tell me that he could feel what an object feels. So he had me go out on the apartment balcony and pointed to a lamppost and said, I can feel what the lamppost feels.
What was he on?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
He was sober, and I was just
God,
getting.
he was floating?
And so he kept telling me to look out there. He was trying to teach me how to do it. And feel a lamp.
All
It was
takes
on the
is,
building, like a couple miles away. I could not leave this conversation. So I had to tell him,
God.
yes, the lamppost. I feel it. It feels warm. So I'm like, this is the most logical thing. It's a lamp. It's probably warm.
Yeah.
Bulbs get hot. But he was trying to tell me that the lamppost is sad and lonely.
So basically, he was sad and lonely and putting it on the lamp.
Yeah, so it was one of those projected it onto other stuff.
Except he put it onto objects instead of people.
Mhm.
That seems slightly healthier.
I don't think
It
so.
doesn't hurt other people.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah. He did both.
You did both.
Oh.
I have another college one.
Oh, Lord.
I don't think it was the same dude, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was the same dude.
Okay.
So it was snowing.
Very rare occurrence in Texas.
Not in,
Ish?
not in the West Texas area that I was in.
Okay.
But it was snowing, and I went outside to go to class, and I was walking up, and a dude came up next to me because he was going to the same building, and he was in like just regular clothes, like his regular shirt that only had sleeves like this long, normal pants, normal shoes, no hat or scarf or anything, and I was just like, all right. And he starts trying to make conversation with me, which I was not happy about. I was very reclusive at the time. I mean, I'm usually sort of reclusive, but I was like terrible at that time. But he starts trying to make conversation, so I decide that I should say something, and I'm like, you know, you're probably gonna get sick, because it's like really cold outside. Like, not the flu or anything, because you can't actually get that from cold. I mean, like, hypothermia, because it was snowing. And he legitimately said, oh, no, I'll be fine. I'm not even shivering anymore.
That's
If you know anything about hypothermia.
when you stop shivering is when you should start worrying.
He's like, yeah, I've been outside for a little bit. I'm not even shivering anymore. I'll be fine. I was just like, boy.
So this is a little bit more of a serious one from my former roommate. So I'm working the closing shift with a manager, and another one of the morons I had to work with. This one looked like a Smeagol on meth, so
So regular Smeagol.
worse.
Worse than Smeagol.
That's an insult to Smeagol.
Yikes.
When I say Smeagol on meth, I mean Smeagol on
Like
meth.
crispy Smeagol.
Chris.
But
That was great.
like, it's the three of us closing, me, Smeagol, and manager, who
Yeah.
I should mention is a lesbian manager. And my roommate walks in, literally a minute till we're about to close the front door, drunk off his ass, and starts saying, I need to talk to the manager. And I'm just sitting here like, oh, for fuck's sake. Because I've listened to him rant about how much he likes her, how much he feels like she likes him, and all this and all that. And all I kept telling him was, lesbian. She is a lesbian. No amount of your charm is gonna change the fact that she is a
Heavy
lesbian.
quotations.
Yeah, heavy quotations.
Dude,
like-
she likes girls. Oh, what a coincidence. Me too. No, not like that.
But like, I start trying to be like, you don't have to talk to him if you don't want to. I will kick his ass out if you need me to. I've been dying to do it. Let me kick this motherfucker out. But she just says, no, I'm just gonna talk to him. And about 5 minutes after they're talking, I'm swamped with orders. I'm working as fast as I can just so that just in case I need to, I could kick this motherfucker out and go back to work. But as soon as I'm done with the orders, she comes back and says, take him home. And I end up literally having to carry him out because he's so drunk at this point, which, by the way, he's a diabetic. He's a type 2 diabetic, which means he shouldn't be drinking at all.
Yeah.
But besides the point. And as I'm literally carrying him out, he decides to shout back that she's a coward for not admitting that she's bi. Which,
She's not.
yeah, no.
She's not bi.
No. So I just literally,
I
fireman's
agree with your
carry,
face.
get him into the car, and then he's just like, thank you, you're such a good friend. And I'm like, don't fucking talk to me, don't fucking touch me, shut up.
Don't use the F word. just go home. If you can make it.
Yeah. I just drove him to the apartment, threw him in the restroom, and then just went back to my little corner. Just like, why?
Just remember, kids, you do not decide other people's sexualities, and you never will.
Yeah, that's one of the continuous stupid things about a lot of people. Oh, you just haven't this or that. You haven't found the right person. You haven't tried. It's like, that's not how it works, Karen.
Sorry. It's not like food. It's not like food. You don't just try quiche and then say, not for me. You're not going to walk up and be like, let me just try this dick real quick. Not for me. Have you tried it with mustard?
I like mine with whipped cream. Maybe you should try it too.
Chocolate syrup. But no cherry on top of her. Yeah. Like,